Good day. So today I'm going to show you how to integrate ItemRack and Trinket swapping with your Feign Death. Now, at the moment, I'm just sitting here on the island of Zandalore. I'm going to swim across to the mainland. But what we're going to do is we're going to open up ItemRack with a right click, and we are going to go to queues on the left hand side of the set of tabs. I already have these set up, but I'll just show you how they are configured. So the first one here is the Devil's Saw Eye. Once you click on the trinket you wish to queue, you get presented with a list of options. Now, at the very first time you do this, this stop QI line will be right at the bottom. And the general gist is you turn on auto queue and it will just start cycling doom 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 doom, doom as it goes through, which is really handy for unused trinkets, but not that great for static trinkets, because if you put a static trinket in, there's no one use, it will just kind of sit there for a little while. So what we're going to do is we're going to move it right to the top and then down one, so Devil's Eye, and down again for the Royal Seal of Eldratalis or Thales. On the Devil's Eye, I click it. It could be below this, it could be above this, but you want it at the top. You know, when you actually do this the first time, this could be in any complete order, but you want this at the top. You want the priority ticked. Right, that means that once this trinket's cooldown has completed, it will place it back into utilization. Okay. Auto queue has to be turned on. If you don't have that on, this isn't going to work, but you have to turn it on. Once you're finished with that, you can also have this pause queue on the Royal Seal. This is quite handy if you're just going to be killing bosses and then you're jumping out and going back to trash for a duration. The only downside to this is you need to manually remember to put your Devil's Eye back in order to utilize it. What you could do as well, or what I am doing at the moment, I'm literally just testing because I got this a moment ago. As you can see, I got the buff. The Zandalore Hero Medallion. So I've done the same thing here. I've built a second queue. I've placed the Zandalore Hero Medallion at the top of the queue and the Black Hand's Breath second. So as soon as this expires after 20 seconds, the Black Hand's Breath will connect up. Now, the issue with this at the moment is your Feign Death has a 30-second cooldown, and you can't have two unused trinkets running at the same time. They have to run sequentially. So the Devil's Saw Eye will run first, or the Zandalore Hero Medallion will run first, and both of those will last for 20 seconds, which means there's going to be a minimum of 40 seconds without a Black Hand's Breath and or your Royal Seal of Eldratalis. Now, that's fine, I guess, for some fights if you're doing them very, very quickly. Black Hand's Breath is the equivalent, in finger quotes, of 2 crit, which it's 2 crit, which is the equivalent of approximately 64 range attack power. We'll say 32, maybe 34, depending on your gear, across into range attack power. So not having it on for 40 seconds is kind of crazy. Anyway, let's just show you how this works. So there's a Crocalist. It's a low level Crocalist, so it's probably not going to be the best thing to test on. However, I'm going to hit my cooldown abuse button. My rapid fire is engaged. My range damage has increased to just under 500 to just under 600. My range attack power has gone up. Attack speed's dropped to 1.8 because obviously rapid fire's just dropped off. The AP bonus has just dropped off. Everything's just dropped off the trinket swapped back automatically. I've hit my abuse button again. Damage has gone up again to 518. Just going to literally fire a shot off at this guy. Okay, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That will swap again. Bang. And now I'm in my static configuration. Now, while I'm in combat, obviously, your trinkets are not going to swap. So you're going to have to feign death. Now, the thing is, a lot of people are saying about the feign death, it's like, oh, I feign death, my trinket swap doesn't work. And that's normally because of a couple of little things. The first of all, the first item on that is your pet is probably still in combat and keeping you locked in. So at that point, you want to kind of build a macro that causes your feign death, brings your pet back. Okay, so pet passive. So get your pet to return to you. Oh, also, did you see that my trinket just dropped straight in at 1 minute 30 because it knows that there's 30 seconds remaining on it on the cooldown, and there's also 30 seconds I have to wait before I can use it. So at 1.5 minutes, it literally dropped it in. This one will go in again very shortly as well. There we go. It wasn't a perfect 10 seconds between them because I didn't do it perfectly with 10 seconds between them. But that one is now sitting there ready to go. 17 seconds, etc. Anyway, going back here, pet passive. So the pet passive will obviously pull the pet back. Another thing that could also be locking you in combat is if somebody's throwing you a heal or a renew or something of that nature. So when you're actually when you're trying to do your feign death, you could potentially get jarred because of that. I have mine configured to only feign death when I'm in combat. So if I press my feign death button, it will drop a trap unless I'm in combat. If I'm in combat, then it will feign death. So that's one of the main things to take away is make sure you have your feign death macro, because without that, that is, what we're doing is pretty much redundant. It's never going to work. And I get a lot of people turn around saying, oh, I can't get my feign death trinket swap to work, or my feign death's been resisted. And actually, your feign death hasn't been resisted. Your feign death is absolutely fine. What's happened is something has prevented you from fully dropping out of combat. Your threat has wiped, but you haven't dropped fully out of combat, and that's the trick. You have to be out of combat in order to do the trinket swap. Sometimes you just have to lay in feign death for a full second, so all the server batching sorts its shit out, and then boom, you have your trinkets will swap over. So I'm going to do it again. Quick abuse of the macro. So we have our 20 seconds, 15, blah 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 blah. Within this, you could probably get around, I think it's at least two aim shots for 6 seconds apiece, potentially 3. And bang, double abuse, right? So that's now swapped over. Obviously, I'm outside of combat, so this is going to instantly swap for me. This is, not your real life situational occurrence, because while you're in combat, that's not going to happen. See, I'm literally just going to hold this guy for a second. Right, so it's still there. Now, if I feign, bang, trinket swap. And it is as easy as that. Now I'm going to play with these trinket combinations. Oh, it's evading. I'm going to play with these trinket combinations. Now I've simmed it out. The in my best gear on my other hunter, which is full tier 2, press doors, Warbladed Akari, Fang of the Faceless, Shroud of Mists, and a pair of the Jinn, the Rings of the Jinn, Seal and Band. I actually lose 0.1% DPS, which is interesting because I kind of worked it out in my head that if I'm firing in 20 seconds, 3 aim shots, 2 multis, potentially 2 multis, you may not get that out, and 3 autos, that's at least 6, 7, 8 attacks. 8 attacks will start at 40, go 40, 38, 36, 34, 32, 30, 28. Let's say 7 attacks, 28. So that adds together to approximately 380-ish. No, that's not right. 280-ish. When you divide that by the 20 seconds, that gives you approximately 14 extra damage per second over those 20 seconds. So it seems odd that we would lose 0.1% DPS when on paper you gain 14 damage over those 14 damage per second over those 20 seconds. I think the loss is obviously going to be the lack of the extra ranged attack power while those shots are going off. So a combination of the two may be better than obviously having them running sequentially. Definitely sequentially is a bad idea because while this is on, you do not have a Black Hand's Breath activating. Sorry, in static form, so you're losing that potential extra 2 crit, that potential 64 to 66 range attack power. It just is what it is. So this combination where they're both running at the same time is not going to be ideal. I just like fucking around and testing shit out in reality. But like I say, easy to fix. Just turn off the key and we'll leave it there alone and Black Hand's Breath will stay there. Boom. Yeah. You could also actually have a delay on there. So this is dirty cheat. So for example, if we said the Black Hand's Breath was actually our priority, okay, but we actually want the Black Hand's Breath to be in place for 20 seconds, and we take off the Zandalier Hero Charm. So this is one that I haven't actually tested out properly yet, but I'm just thinking about it as we're talking. Let's see what that does. So what should happen is I should get 20 seconds of delay before it pops over to the Zandalier Hero Charm. The thing with that is, when does that actually initialize? Because this isn't an unused trinket. Does that mean that it's already counting down 20 seconds straight away? I know the medallion now has, here we go, 25 seconds to go. 22, 20, let's see if it drops it in there. Does it? No, it doesn't. 13, 12, 10. Oh, that kind of sucks. Would have been nice to have seen. Yeah, so I mean, if anybody can help me with this delay section, I would be super grateful. Because the nirvana that I would love to get to without manual macros, I suppose, and I could, you know what, I could actually do it this way around. I suppose the nirvana I would want to get to, I didn't have the auto queue on. That would do it. See, that's what I'm saying. So easy to, if you don't have the auto queue on. Right, now let's see if those 20 seconds tick over. Well, easiest way of doing that is to click that. By the time it gets around here, that would have been 20 seconds. And no, it didn't do it. Has auto swapped over, obviously. This has not. I mean, potentially what we could do is maybe have the delay at this point and see if that sorts out. So have the queue on, and in 20 seconds see if it automatically swaps over. 20 seconds is a fun wait, isn't it? I don't think that's working either. I think that's probably because that's got the priority on it. Because it's not a used trinket, which means it will never sit there idle. Yeah, definitely not. So I guess the actual nirvana of this is going to be not having the on use on 2 slots, right? So we leave Black Hand's Breath alone. We leave it sat there. And what we do is we come into here and we bring our Zandalorian Hero Charm up into the mix. And on that, I suppose we set it to, well, we don't actually have a delay on that, because what should happen is the queue should now go Devil Sarai, Zandalori, Hero Charm, and it should put that in after 30 seconds, or attempt to. So there's the first abuse. We now have the 20-second cooldown wait on that. Mouse in the middle, just to prove that I'm not doing any hocus pocus heebity jeebity. Rapid fire engaged as well now. 20 seconds has completed. Trinket has swapped. I now have 30-second wait period before the next use ability. In a boss fight which is less than 40 seconds, this is not going to help you at all, right? This is not going to do anything. But if you're on Ragnaros, potentially you've now got an extra cooldown point of abuse, and go. Get an extra 20 seconds of potential burst damage. I mean, I reckon this is also going to be damn useful in PvP as an abuse trinket. 20 seconds gone, and now we're back to our Royal Seal of Elder Tales. So yeah, that's pretty much it for trinkets and item rack. I hope that helps you out. And like I say, just make sure you get your... Oh, and you see my Devil Sarai ready at 30 seconds. It automatically popped it back in again. And that's kind of super helpful as well, because obviously your Feign Death is a 30-second cooldown. So when you drop it and you can swap into the other trinket, you then get 30 seconds to go Ballistico, and then go through it again. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, the thing that I wanted to make sure is you get out of combat. Getting out of combat is obviously the key. Feign Death, sitting or laying there for a few seconds, is absolutely grand. And in order to get out and start your attack very, very quickly, I recommend that you have a /stand at the beginning of your next attack. Now that means, this is one of the nicest ones I'll do. I'm going to do a manual Feign Death, because obviously I don't Feign Death while I'm in combat, while I'm out of combat. Right, so I'm literally Feign Death, but I'm already straight into the shot. And that allows you to not have to, when you're in Feign Death, how do I get back up? Well, some people use an auto shot to get back up, but your auto shot won't cast while you're laying down. Okay, so some will use an arcane shot, which will then rip your cooldown for your aim shot. Sorry, they'll use an arcane shot, which will pull out your cooldown for your aim shot. That's no good, because you've just wasted an aim shot. Some people will use the multi-shot. Maybe the multi-shot cooldown isn't ready. Some people will use a sting to burst themselves back up and get themselves on foot, and that's great. But I mean, stings in a raid, fuck off. Unless you use a Scorpid sting, which doesn't actually apply a debuff to the mob, but then you've initialized the global cooldown, so you have to wait that 0.5 seconds, which isn't the end of the world, but still 0.5 seconds. The other option people do is when they're in Feign Death, they'll start moving. But if you're ready to sit on your auto shot and your pendulum is about to trick off, and you move while the pendulum trick off is happening, you automatically get the 0.5 second bounce. So that swings back and you lose your 0.5 second bounce again. So /stand. If you take two things away from this, /stand to get out of your Feign Death, and make sure your pet goes on passive so that your Feign Death doesn't get fucked up. Not resisted, fucked up. Have a great day, guys and girls.